Hey guys, I'm back. Today I'm going to read 1 Chronicles 7 to 12, Proverbs 25, and Psalm 149. Let's get started. The sons of Isaac are Tola, Pur, Joshua, and Shimon. 4. The sons of Tola: Uzi, Raphael, Jeriel, Jeremiah, Ibsam, and Shemiel, heads of their fathers' houses, namely of Tola, mighty warriors of their generation. The number in the days of David being 22,600. The son of Uzi is Rahil. The sons of Israel: Michael, Obadiah, Joel, and Issachar. And all 5 of them were chief men, and along with them had their generations, according to their fathers' houses, were units of the army for war, 36,000. For they had many wives and sons. Their kinsmen belonged to all the clans of Isaac, were in all 87,000 mighty warriors, enrolled by genealogy. And the sons of Benjamin: Bela, Becher, and Jediel. 3. The sons of Bela: Esben, Uzi, Uziel, Jeremoth, and Iri. 5. Heads of fathers' houses, mighty warriors, and their enrollment by genealogies were 22,034. The sons of Becher: Zemariah, Joash, Eliezer, Elionai, Omri, Jeremoth, Abijah, Anathoth, and Alameth. All these were the sons of Becher, and their enrollment by genealogies, according to their generations, as heads of their fathers' houses, mighty warriors, was 20,200. The sons of Jediel: Bilhan, and the sons of Bilhan: Jush, Benjamin, Ehud, Chenanah, Zethan, Tarshish, and Ahishashar. All these were the sons of Jediel, according to the heads of their fathers' houses, mighty warriors, 17,200, able to go to war. And Shophim and Huppim were the sons of Hashim, the son of Ahah. The sons of Naphtali: Jahaziel, Guni, Jezer, and Shalom. The sons of Bilhah: the sons of Manasseh: Azriel, whom his wife Aramean concubine bore. She bore Machir, the father of Gili. And Machir took a wife for Huppim and for Shophim. The name of his sister was Maacah, and the name of the second was Zelophehad. And Zelophehad had daughters. Maacah, the wife of Machir, bore a son, and she called his name Perish. And the name of the brother was Sheresh. And his sons were Elam and Rakim, and the son of Elam, Bedin. And these were the sons of Gilead, son of Machir, son of Manasseh, and his sister Hamolah, Cheth, or Ishon, Aviza, and Mala. The sons of Shemida were Ahian, Shechem, Likhi, and Aniam. The sons of Ephraim: Shaphalah, and buried his son, Tahath his son, Eladah his son, Tahath his son, Sabah his son, Shaphalah his son, and Ezer and Elid, whom the men of Gath who were born in the land killed, because he came down to raid their livestock. And Ephraim their father murdered many dead, and his brothers came to accompany him. And Ephraim went in to his wife, and she conceived and bore a son. And he called his name Beriah, because disaster had befallen his house. His daughter was Shira, who built both Lower and Upper Bethhoron, and Uzan Shira. Raphael was his son, Resheph his son, Telah his son, Tahan his son, Laden his son, Ammihud his son, Elishama his son, Nun his son, Joshua his son. Their possessions and settlements were Bethel and its towns, and to the east Naran, on to the west Gaza and its towns, Shechem and its towns, Aya and its towns, also in possession of the Manassites, Bethshean and its towns, Taanach and its towns, Megiddo and its towns, Dor and its towns. And these lived the sons of Joseph, the son of Israel. The sons of Asher: Ibnah, Ishva, Ishvi, Beriah, and the sister Sarah. The sons of Beriah: Heber and Malkiel, who fathered Berzath. Heber fathered Japhlet, Shomer, Shotham, and their sister Shua. The sons of Japhlet: Pasak, Bimhal, and Ashvath. These are the sons of Japhlet. The sons of Shema, his brother: Roker, Jehabah, and Aram. The sons of Helam, his brother: Zophah, Imnah, Shelash, and Amal. The sons of Zophah, Suah, Hanephah, Shual, Beri, Imrah, Bezahaz, Shammah, Shilsha, Ithran, and Bera. The sons of Jether: Jephthah, Pispa, and Ara. The sons of Ola: Ara, Haniel, and Rizia. All these were men of Asher, heads of fathers' houses, a great mighty warriors, chiefs of the princes. Their number enrolled by genealogy. The service in war was 26,000 men. Benjamin fathered Bela and his firstborn, Ashbel the second, Ahara the third, Morihah the fourth, and Rapha the fifth. And Bela had sons: Adar, Gera, Abihad, Abishua, Naaman, Ahoah, Gera, Shephathan, and Huram. These are the sons of Ehud: Naaman, Ahijah, and Gera. That is Haglam, who fathered Uzzah, and Ahad. And Shaharaim fathered sons in the country of Moab. After he sent away Hashem and Barah his wife, he fathered sons by Hodesh his wife, Jobab, Zibiah, Misha, Malcolm, Jush, Sachia, and Mermah. These were his sons, heads of fathers' houses. Yosaphat's sons were Husham, Abital, and Elpal. The sons of Elpal, Eber, Misham, and Shem. He built Ono and Lod with his sons, and Beri and Shema. And Ahio, Shashak, and Jeroth, Zebediah, Aaron, Eda, Michael, Ishpa, and Johal, the sons of Beri. Zebediah, Misham, Hizki, Heber, Ishmael, Isli, and Jobab were the sons of Elpal. Jachin, Zitri, Zabdi, Elina, Zilithai, Eliel, Adair, Beriah, and Shemath were the sons of Shemath. Ishpan, Eber, Eliel, Abder, Zitri, Hanan, Hanif, Elab, and Thothalijah, Ifdea, and Pia were the sons of Shashak. Shamsharai, Shehariah, Athaliah, Jerushiah, Elijah, and Zitri were the sons of Jeroham. These are the heads of their fathers' houses, according to their generations, chief men. These lived in Jerusalem. Sheol, the father of Gibeon, lived in Gibeon. And the name of his wife was Maacah. And his firstborn son Abdon, then Zer, Kishbal, Nadab, Gedor, Ahir, Zechar, and Mikloth, and Osu. Now these also lived opposite the kinsmen in Jerusalem with their kinsmen. Ner was the father of Kish, Kish is Saul, Saul of Jonathan, Malchishua, Abinadab, and Eshbal, and the son of Jonathan was Meribal. And Meribal was the father of Micah. The sons of Micah. Pithon, Melech, Teriah, and Ahaz. Ahaz fathered Jehoiada, and Jehoiada fathered Alameth, Asmaveth, and Zimri. Zimri fathered Moza. Moza fathered Benia. Rapha was his son, Elazar his son, Azel his son. Azel had 6 sons, and these are their names: Azrikam, Bocheru, Ishmael, Sheariah, Obadiah, and Hanan. And all these were the sons of Azel. The sons of Eshek his brother, Ulam his firstborn, Jush the second, and Eliphalet the third. The sons of Ulam were men who were mighty warriors, bowmen, having many sons and generations. Grandsons, 150. All these were Benjaminites. So all Israel was recorded in genealogies, and all these are written in the book of the kings of Israel. And Judah was taken into exile in Babylon because of their breach of faith. Now the first to dwell again in their possessions in their cities were Israel, the priest, the Levites, and the temple servants. Some were Judah, Benjamin. Some of the people Judah, Benjamin, Ephraim, and Manasseh lived in Jerusalem. Uthai, the son of Amahah, son of Omri, Asir, the firstborn, and his sons. Of the sons of Zerah, Jewel and their kinsmen, 690. Of the Benjaminites, Saul, the son of Nishon, and son of Hodaviah, son of Hasanul, Ibniah, the son of Jeroham, Elah, the son of Aziz, son of Mitri, and Mishalam, the son of Shephatiah, son of Ruah, son of Ibnijah, and their kinsmen according to their generations, 956. All these were heads of their fathers' houses according to their fathers' houses. And of the priests, Jedaiah, Jehoiada, Jachin, and Azariah, the son of Hilkiah, son of Misham, son of Zadok, son of Moriah, son of Ahitub, the chief officer of the house of God, and Adaiah, the son of Jeroham, son of Pasha, son of Malchijah, and Maasai, the son of Adiel, son of Jasur, son of Misham, son of Mesholemeth, son of Immer, besides their kinsmen, heads of their fathers' houses, 1,760 mighty men for the work of this service of the house of God. And of the Levites, Shemaiah, the son of Hashab, son of Azrikam, son of Hashabiah, of the sons of Merari, and Bakbakar, Harish, Dalal, and Mattaniah, the son of Micah, son of Zitri, son of Asaph. And Obadiah, the son of Shemaiah, son of Galal, son of Jeduthun, and Barakiah, the son of Asa, son of Elkanah, who lived in the villages of the Netophathite. Gatekeepers were Shalom, Akab, Talman, Ahiman, and their kinsmen, until they were in the king's gate on the east side as the gatekeepers of the camps of the Levites. Shalom, the son of Korah, son of Abiasaph, son of Korah, and his kinsmen of his father's house. The Korahites were in charge of the work of the service, keepers of the thresholds of the tent, as their fathers had been in charge of the camp of the Lord, keepers of the entrance. And Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, was the chief officer over them in time past. The Lord was with him, and Zechariah, the son of Meshalmi, was gatekeeper at the entrance of the tent meeting. All these who were chosen as gatekeepers in the threshold were 212. They were in chart and rolled by genealogies in their villages. David and Samuel the seer established them in their office of trust. So they and their sons were in charge of the gates and of the house of the Lord, that is, the house of the tent, as guards. The gatekeepers were on the 4 sides, east, west, north, and south. And their kinsmen who were in their villages were obliged to come and set every every 7 days in time to be with these. For the 4 chief gatekeepers who were Levites were entrusted to be over the chambers and the treasures of the house of God, and they lodged around the house for on them lay the duty of watching, and they had charge of opening it every morning. Some of them had charge of the utensils of service, while they were required to count them when they were brought in and taken out. Others of them were appointed over the furniture and over all the holy utensils over the fine flour, the wine, the oil, the incense, and the spices. Other of the sons of the priests prepared the mixing of the spices. Mattithias, one of the Levites, the first one is Shalom. Shalom, the Korahite, was entrusted with making the flat cakes. And the some of the kinsmen of the Korahite had the charge of the showbread to prepare every Sabbath. And now these, the singers, the heads of fathers' houses, of the Levites, were in the chambers of the temple free from other service. They were on duty day and night. These were heads of fathers' houses of the Levites, according to their generations' leaders. These lived in Jerusalem. So in Gibeon lived the father Gibeon, Jeel, and his name of his wife was Maacah, and his firstborn son Abdon, and then Kish, Nadab, Gedor, Ahio, Zechariah, and Mikloth. Mikloth was the father of Shinim, and these also lived opposite their kinsmen in Jerusalem and with their kinsmen. And their father Kish father Saul father Jonathan, Malchishua, Abinadab, and Eshbal. And the son of Jonathan was Meribal, and Meribal father Micah, the sons of Micah, Pithon, Melech, Tariah, and Ahaz. And Ahaz father Jerah, and Jerah father Azmaveth, and Zimri father Mosa. And Mosa father Beni, and Raphael was his son. Elisa his son. Asa had 6 sons, and these are the names: Azrikam, Bocheru, Ishmael, Shuriah, Obadiah, and Hannah. These were the sons of Azel. Now the Philistines fought against Israel, and the men of Israel fled before the Philistines and fell slain on Mount Gilboa. And the Philistines overtook Saul and his sons, and the Philistines struck down Jonathan and Abinadab and Malchishua, the sons of Saul. The battle pressed hard against Saul, and archers found him, and he was wounded by the archers. And Saul said to his armor bearer, "Draw your sword and thrust me through with it, lest the uncircumcised come and mistreat me." But his armor bearer could not, for he feared greatly. Therefore Saul took his own sword and fell upon it. And when his armor bearer saw that Saul was dead, he also fell upon the sword and died. Thus Saul died. He and his 3 sons and his whole house died together. When all the men of Israel who were in the sea saw that the army of the had fled, and that Saul and his sons were dead, they abandoned their cities and fled. And the Philistines came and lived in them. The next day, when the Philistines came to strip the slain, they found Saul and his sons fallen on Mount Gilboa, and they stripped him to his head and his armor. And sent messengers throughout the land of the Philistines, carried the good news to their animals and to the people. And they put his armor in the temple of their gods, and fastened his head in the temple of Dagon. When Jabesh Gilead heard all that the Philistines had done to Saul, the 5 men arose and took away the body of Saul and the bodies of his sons, and brought them to Jabesh, and they buried their bones under the oak of Jabesh and lasted 7 days. So Saul died for his breach of faith. He broke faith with the Lord, and that he did not give the command of the Lord. And as the Judah consulted a meeting, seeking guidance, he did not seek guidance from the Lord. Therefore the Lord put him to death, and turned the kingdom over to David the son of Jesse. And all Israel gathered together to David and Hebron and said, "Here, we are your bone and flesh. In times past, even when Saul was king, it was you who led out and brought in Israel. The Lord your God said to you, you shall be shepherd of my people Israel, and you shall be prince over my people Israel." So all the elders of Israel came to the king of Hebron. And then David made a covenant with them at Hebron and before the Lord, and they anointed David king of Israel according to the word of the Lord by Samuel. And David and all Israel went with them to Jerusalem, that is Jebus, where the Jebusites were. And the inhabitants of Jebus said to David, "You will not come in here." Nevertheless, David took the stronghold of Zion, that is the city of David. And David said, "Whoever strikes the Jebusites first shall be chief and commander." And Joab the son of Zeruiah went up first, so he became chief. And David lived in the stronghold, therefore it was called the City of David. And he built the city all around from the middle in complete circuit. And Joab repaired the rest of the city. And David became greater and greater, for the Lord's house was with him. Now these are the chiefs of David's mighty men, who gave him strong support in his kingdom, together with all Israel, to make him king, according to the word of the Lord concerning Israel. This is the account of David's mighty men. Jashubim, Hatchmanite, was chief of the three. He wielded his spear against 300 whom he killed at one time. And next to him sat among the three mighty men was Elzah the son of Dodo, the Ahohite. He was with David at Pas Dammim when the Philistines were gathered there for battle. There was a plot of ground for a battle, and as the men fled from the Philistines, he took his stand in the midst of the plot and defended it and killed the Philistines. And the Lord saved them by a great victory. 3 of the 30 men went down from the rock of David at the cave of Adullam, and the army of Philistines was encamped in the valley of Rephaim. David was then in the stronghold, and the garrison of the Philistines was then at Bethlehem. And David said loudly, "O thou son, to give me water to drink from the well of Bethlehem that is by the gate." And the 3 mighty men broke through the camp of the Philistines and drew water out of the well of Bethlehem that was by the gate, and took it and drew water out of the well of Bethlehem that was by the gate, and took it and brought it to David. But David would not drink it. He poured it out to the Lord and said, "Far be it from me that before my God, that I should do this. Shall I drink the lifeblood of these men? For at the risk of their lives they brought it. Therefore he would not drink it." These things did the 3 mighty men. And Abishai the brother of Joab was chief of the 30, and he wielded his spear against 300 men and killed them in one name beside the 3. He was the most renowned of the 30 and became their commander, but did not attain to the 3. And when Benaiah the son of Jehoiada was a valiant man of Katzil, a doer of great deeds, he struck down 2 heroes of Mara. He also went down and struck a lion in a pit on a day when the snow fell. And he struck down an Egyptian, a man of great stature, 5 cubits tall. The Egyptian had in his hand a spear like a weaver's beam, but Benaiah went down to him with a staff and snatched the spear out of the Egyptian's hand. And killed him with his own spear. And these things did Benaiah the son of Jehoiada, and went on name beside the 3 mighty men. He was renowned among the 30, and he did not attain to the 3. And David said over his bodyguard, "The mighty men were Asahel the brother of Joab, Elhanan the son of Dodo of Bethlehem, Shammah the Harod, Helez the Pelonite, Ira the son of Ikish of Tekoa, Abijah of Anathoth, Sibbecai the Hushathite, Eli the Ahohite, Mariah of Netopha, Heled the son of Banner of Netopha, Ithai the son of Rehabiah of Gibeah, of the people of Benjamin, Benaiah of Pirathon, Huriah of the books of Gash, Abiel the Arbathite, Asmaveth of Baharam, Eliab, Eliab the Shalbanite, Hashem the Gizonite, Jonathan the son of Shagi the Harite, Ahia the son of Sachal the Harite, Eliphel the son of Hefer the Methjerite, Ahijah the Pelonite, Hezro of Carmel, Nahariah the son of Isbai, Joel the brother of Nathan, Mibhar the son of Hagri, Zelek the Ammonite, Nahariah of Beeroth, Armor-bearer of Joab, the son of Zuri, Ira the Ithrite, Gareb the Ithrite, Uriah the Hittite, Zabad the son of Adlai, Adnah the son of Shiza the Reubenite, Elijah the Reubenite, and 30 with Hanan the son of Maacah, and Joshaphat the Mithnite, Uzziah the Ashturathite, Shammah and Jeel the sons of Hotham and the Aroah, Jediel the son of Shimri, and Joha his brother, and Tizai, Eliel the Mahathite, and Jerobai, and Joshavi the sons of Elnam, and Ithmah the Moabite, Eliel and Obed, and Jaziel the Mizabite. And these were the men who came to David at Ziklag, while he could not move around further because of Saul the son of Kish. And they were among the mighty men who helped him out in war. They were bowmen and could shoot arrows and sling stones with eyes for the right or the left. They were Benjamin, Saul's kinsman. The chief of Ahiezer was Ahiezer, then Joash, the sons of Shemaiah of Gibeah, also Jeziel and Peled, the sons of Asmir, Berakah, Jehu of Anathoth, Ishmael of Gibeah, a mighty man among Uzziah, Jeremoth, Bala, Shalisha, Esme, Berakath, Jehu, Anathoth, Ishmael, Gibeon, and a mighty man among the 30 and the leader of the 30, Jeremiah, Jehaziel, Johanan, Josabad, Gedor, Elusai, Jeremoth, Bailey, Shemariah, Shephatiah, the Haraphite, Elkanah, Isaiah, Azarel, Joseph, and Jeshua, and the Korahites, and Joel and Zebediah, the sons of Jeroham of Gedor. From the Gadites they went over to David at the stronghold in the wilderness, mighty and experienced warriors, expert with shield and spear, whose faces were like the faces of lions, and who were as swift as gazelles on the mountains. Ezra the chief, Obadiah second, Eliab third, Mishmah fourth, Jeremiah fifth, Attai sixth, Eliel seventh, Johanan eighth, Elzabad ninth, Jeremiah 10th, Maccabiah 11th. These Gadites were officers of the army. The least was a match for 100 men, and the greatest for 1,000. These are all the men who crossed the Jordan in the first month, when it was overflowing all its banks, and went to fight all those in the valleys, went to the east and to the west. And some of the men of Benjamin and Judah came to the stronghold to David. David went out to meet them and said to them, "If you come to me in friendship to help me, my heart will be joined to you, but if to betray me and my adversary, and although there is no wrong in my head, then may the God of our fathers see and rebuke you." And the Spirit clothed a man like you in 30, and he said, "We are yours, O David, and with you, O son of Jesse. Peace to you, and peace to your helpers, for your God helps you." And David received and made them officers of his troops. Some of the men of Manasseh deserted to David when he came with the Philistines for the battle against Saul. And as he went to Ziklag, these men of Manasseh deserted to Adnah, Josabad, Jediel, Michael, Josabad, Elihu, and Zilthai, chief of the thousands in Manasseh. They helped David against the band of raiders, for they were all mighty men of valor and were commanders in the army. For from day to day men came to David to help him, until there was a great army, like an army of God. These are the numbers of the divisions of the army troops came to David, and he wanted to turn the kingdom of Saul over to him. According to the word of the Lord, the men of Judah bearing shield and spear were 6,800 armed troops. Of the Simeonites, mighty men of valor for war, 7,100. Of the Levites, 4,600. And the prince of Jehoiada of the house of Aaron, with him 3,700. Sadok, a young man mighty in valor, and 22 commanders from his father's house. And of the Benjaminites, the kinsmen of Saul, 3,000. Of him is the majority had to that point kept their leaders in their father's house. Of half-tribe Manasseh, 18,000, who were expressly named to come and make David king. Of Isaac, a man who would understand of the time, to know what Israel ought to do, 200 chiefs, and all their kinsmen under their command. Of Zebulun, 50,000 seasoned troops, who were for battle with all the weapons of war, to help David with singleness of purpose. And of Naphtali, 1,000 commanders, with whom were 37,000 men armed with shield and spear. Of the Danites, 28,600 men equipped for battle. Of Asher, 40,000 seasoned troops ready for battle. Of the Reubenites and Gadites and the half-tribe Manasseh from beyond the Jordan, 120,000 men armed with all the weapons of war. All these men of war arrayed in battle order came to Hebron with the whole heart to make David king over Israel. Likewise, all the rest of Israel were of a single mind to make David king, and they were there with David for 3 days, eating and drinking, for their brothers had made preparation for them. And those of their relatives, from his fathers Isaac and Zebulun and Naphtali, came bringing food on donkeys and on camels and on mules and on oxen, abundant provisions of flour, cakes of figs, clusters of raisins, and wine and oxen and sheep, for there was joy in Israel. Proverbs 25. These also are prophets of Solomon, which the men of Hezekiah king of Judah copied. It is the glory of God to conceal things, but the glory of kings is to search things out, as the heavens behind the earth for death. So the heart of kings is unsearchable. Take away the dross from the silver, and the smith has material for a vessel. Take away the wicked from the presence of the king, and his throne will be established in righteousness. Do not put yourself forward in the king's presence, or stand in the place of the great, for it is better to be told, "Come up here," than to be put lower in the presence of the noble. What your eyes have seen, do not hastily bring into court, for what will you do in the end when your neighbor puts you to shame? Argue your case with your neighbor and so on, and do not reveal another's secret, lest he who hears you bring shame upon you, and your ill repute have no end. The word fitly spoken is like apples of gold in the setting of silver. Like a gold ring on an ornament of gold is a wise reproof for who are listening to you. Like God of snow in the time of harvest is a faithful messenger who knows who sent. He refreshes the soul of his master like clouds and wind without rain. He is a man who boasts of a gift he does not give. With patience a ruler may be persuaded. And his soft tongue will break a bone. If you found honey, only enough for you. Let you have your fill of it and vomit it. Let your foot be seldom in your neighbour's house, unless you have his fill of you and hate you. May he bears false witness against his neighbours like a walker, or a sword, or a sharp arrow, trusting in a treacherous man in time of trouble. Like a bad tooth or a foot that slips. Whoever sings songs to a heavy heart is like one who takes off a garment on a cold day, and like vinegar on soda. If your enemy is hungry, give him bread to eat, and if he is thirsty, give him water to drink. For you will heap burning coals on his head, and the Lord will reward him. North wind brings forth rain, and a backbiting tongue, angry looks. It is better to live in the corner of a household than in a house shared with a quarrelsome wife. Like cold water to a thirsty soul, so is good news from far country. Like a muddy spring or a polluted fountain is a righteous man who gives way to civility. It is not good to eat much honey, nor is it glorious to seek one's own glory. Like a man without self-control is like a city broken into and left without walls. Psalm 149. Praise the Lord, sing to the Lord a new song. Let his praise in the assembly of the godly. Let Israel be glad in his maker. Let the children of Zion rejoice in their king. Let the praise his name with dancing, making melody to him with tambourine and lyre. For the Lord takes pleasure in his people, for he adores the humble with salvation. Let the godly exalt in glory. Let them sing for joy on their beds. Let the higher praises of God be in their throats, and two-edged swords in their hands, to execute vengeance on the nations and punishments on the peoples, to bind their kings with chains and their nobles with fetters of iron, to execute on them the judgment written. This honor for all is godly ones. Praise the Lord. Now the stone, I shall now to the Lord's wrath. Please bow your heads, the Father in heaven. Hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us today our daily bread. Forgive us our debts as you receive forgiven our debtors. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from the evil one. Yours is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. See you tomorrow. Bye.